Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell. I have always been passionate about video games. I remember playing the very first video game, Pong, with my friend way back then. Pong, in case you don't know, is the very first video game, and I have fond memories playing that with my friend. And there was something about that bouncing ball, me being able to hit that ball with the paddles, okay, and my friend would be able to hit it back to me. There was something about that early video game that just hooked me. I don't know what it is. And my passion for video games grew stronger as the years and decades went by. So I was there at the dawn of the video gaming age. I was there. I watched firsthand the progression of video games, how the graphics and the sounds changed through the years. I was there. I witnessed all of it firsthand. I am so passionate about video games that I never got married because I just don't have the time for a wife and children and all of that. I just don't have the time. I am too busy doing my own thing. And video gaming was one of those things that kept me busy. It was my passion for video games that got me into computers way back in 1981. Because I used to go with my friends to the arcades, and I would watch them spend quarter after quarter in these arcade games, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to pump quarters into these arcade game machines. I knew that one day I would be able to get some kind of a computer where I could play these games anytime I wanted to for free. Just, you know, I knew that. I knew because I saw the early computers. And so I got into computers for that reason, so that I could play video games at home in my own free time without spending quarters. And I started with computers in 1981. My first computer was a Commodore VIC-20. My second computer, well, my first computer system was a complete Commodore 64 system. And then after that, I built a couple of IBM compatible computers. They were 88 processor-based PC compatible computers that I built. I traded one of them for my first Atari 520 ST computer. And then later on that same year, I bought my first Amiga 1000 computer. And once I got the Atari ST and the Amiga, I thought I was in video gaming heaven. Because finally, there were computers that could produce the graphics and the sounds in video games that I was seeing in the coin-ops. Of course, you got to have controllers, you got to have joysticks or gamepads or controllers of some sort to play all these wonderful games. And I've collected a lot of joysticks through the years. I've kept a lot of joysticks through the years. Some were good, some were not so good, and I'm going to show a lot of these joysticks from my collection tonight. It's going to be a two-part series. The first part is going to be where I show you all of my Atari 9-pin type joysticks and controllers. That'll be in this first part. In the second part of this video series, I will show you my IBM compatible joysticks and Apple joysticks. I'll show you those joysticks. I think you'll find these two videos interesting. And any joysticks that you see in the videos that you have had yourself and you've used them and you've enjoyed them, maybe leave a comment down below in the comment section telling us what that joystick is and what you liked about it. Because I'm very curious as to hear from you guys. Okay, what was your favorite joystick of all time? You know, what was your favorite Atari 9-pin joystick? What was your favorite Apple joystick? What was your favorite IBM PC compatible joystick? Let me know down in the comments. I'm sure a lot of us would like to read your comments and see what kind of joysticks you enjoyed using through the years. So anyway, yeah. I was involved with video games since the beginning, since Pong, which came out in the late 70s. And it was my passion for video games that got me started in computers in 1981. And if someone was to ask me today, like, okay, what is Hans Campbell passionate about? Most people would assume computers, but they'd be wrong. My main passion in life has always been video games. I love video games. There's just something about video games I really enjoy. Some people think that it's a waste of time. I don't think so. I think as long as you're doing something that you really enjoy doing and you're having fun with your life, you know, I don't think it's a waste of time. I've had people tell me that I should grow up. You know, aren't you a little bit too old for video games? Especially now that I'm 64 years old, I'm retired, I'm still playing video games. I love video games. And I tell them, no, I don't think I'm ever going to be too old for video games. I don't think there is such a thing. In fact, the video gaming industry is one of the top money-making industries in the world today. And most people that play video games today are not kids. Believe it or not, most people that play video games today are adults. Oh yeah, adults. Mainly men, but more and more women are getting involved with video games. They're starting to see what men like about video games, and they're getting into video games too, which I think is cool. You know, I like to see more women, more girls and women get into video games. You know, that'd be pretty cool to see that. But anyway, you're not going to see my joystick collection with me sitting here yakking all night, so let's get started. All right, first up, we've got an original Atari 2600 joystick. I like the Halloween color theme, you know, the orange and the black. I think that's really nice, the orange button. I like this here, the way this was done. Okay. But this joystick I don't think is very comfortable to hold in the hand because it's square for one thing, and it's got like sharp corners here. Okay, this appears to be some kind of like a rubbery material. Even the handle, it feels rubbery, but this stick feels really tight. It's really tight, very uncomfortable, you know, so yeah. But anyway, I felt that I have to show this joystick because this was basically the very first of the Atari 9-pin joysticks. In fact, all the other joysticks that came out afterwards are basically versions of this joystick. Okay, different companies' takes on this joystick here. Anyway, there's the bottom. Of course, there's your famous Atari 9-pin D connector, and it even says Atari on the connector itself. I don't know if you can see that, how well you can see that on the camera. I'll try to get it where it reflects or whatever. But anyway, that's the original Atari 2600 joystick. Next, we have one of my personal favorites as far as the way it looks, and that's the Commodore joystick. This joystick basically has the same mechanism as the Atari 2600 joystick. It too is not very ergonomic. It's not very comfortable to use it. Also, this appears to be like a rubbery type stuff. Even the handle feels like it's covering the handle as well. So it's made a lot like the Atari 2600 joystick. But I like the way this joystick looks. It has a futuristic look. It looks very well when displayed next to a Commodore VIC-20 computer. It looks very well when displayed next to a Commodore VIC-20. It also, if it didn't have this Commodore logo on there right there, right, this would be a perfect joystick as far as looks for the Atari 600XL and Atari 800XL computers, because they're basically the same color theme, you know. So, yeah. I like the red fire button on the creamy white color with the black. Yeah, it's always been one of my favorite looking joysticks. It's a nice looking joystick, but I don't like the feel of it. It's not very ergonomic. It's not very comfortable as far as actually playing video games, you know. But I had to show it. This is a favorite for many people. A lot of people love this joystick. It's very nostalgic, especially with those of you that love the Commodore VIC-20 and the Commodore 64 computers. Next up, we have one of the rare power sticks made by Amiga. It says Amiga right there. Right there. This one, I think, is way too small for an adult hand. I think even for most kids this would be too small. It's just not very comfortable at all. You know, I like the fact that this is like this. I think the stick part is actually very nice. But where they put these, you know, yeah. But yeah, that's the power stick by Amiga. And it's got the Atari, well, it says Amiga, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has the original Amiga logo right there. Oh yeah, it's got the original Amiga logo right there on the 9-pin D-plug. Yeah. Next up, we got another joystick made by the same company, the Amiga company. This one here is extremely rare. Very hard to find today. It's mainly for the Atari 2600. And the way you can tell is because it's got this numeric pad right here that was used with a lot of the Atari 2600 video games. There would be a card that you would slide in through this slot right here. You would slide it in and it would cover up these with different color buttons or whatever, you know, and you would use this to play those games. You know, so yeah, this is very hard to find today. This particular model of the Power Stick. Very hard to find today. I like the fact it's got this coiled cable. It too has the Amiga logo right there on the plug. So yeah, one of the rarest joysticks in my collection is this one. There's the bottom of it. I don't know if you'd be able to read that. You know, if you can read that, because it does say Amiga right there too. Alright, now we have the first of the many Suncom joysticks and controllers that I have. This one's very unusual. It's a joy sensor, a joystick simulator. Okay, and that's rapid fire. You turn rapid fire on and off. You got you got your fire buttons for either a left-handed person or a right-handed person. This switches it from 8 position to 4 position, and you just basically just use it like this. You know, that's how you use it, just like that. The Joy Sensor Joystick Simulator by Suncom. That's what the back looks like. This was made in the USA. Patent pending. That gives you an idea of just how old this game controller is. But yeah, these are also considered a very rare controller today. These are very hard to find. Not many of these were produced because people they couldn't get used to this concept of a controller, a game controller. They just couldn't get used to it. A lot of people didn't like this. Plus, it's not really that comfortable to hold in your hand, you know, this big box thing right here, you know. There's the Suncom logo right directly on the 9-pin D connector, so that's kind of cool. All right. The next joystick I know is a favorite for many of you, including myself, and that's the TAC2 joystick. I've always thought this was a really cool looking joystick. I think it's in the small print, it says totally accurate controller, which is what TAC stands for. Totally Accurate Controller 2. I guess it's version 2 of this controller. And it does have a nice feel to it. I mean, fire buttons for left-handed or right-handed person, and it's just a nice looking joystick. It really is. And there's the bottom. Mine's not in perfect condition. It's missing its feet. It's got some dirt on it and some cable melts. But other than that, I'm just fortunate to have one in this nice condition that I usually have on display on my shelving next to my Commodore 64 computer. This is one of the joysticks you'll see on display next to my Commodore 64 computer. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool computer. That is the TAC2. It too is it's made in the USA by Suncom. The Suncom joystick. Next, we have a very interesting joystick. It is definitely one of my personal favorites. I believe this controller came with the Atari, what, 7800? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, you know. But yeah, I just love the way this controller looks. It's just so futuristic. So futuristic, you know, the way that looks. And I like the fact that, okay, it fits in the hand really well. It's really an actual comfortable joystick to use. Very comfortable. And you have the fire button for both right-handed and left-handed people. You know, so yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite joysticks of all time. And there's the back of the joystick. Atari joystick. Just love it. Very nostalgic looking. You can definitely tell this is vintage. You can definitely tell. Yeah, you can definitely tell. Very vintage. Very nostalgic. Okay, the next joystick is this Epix 500XJ joystick. For a lot of you, this is your favorite joystick to use with your Commodore 64 computer. It just fits the hand really well, and you got your fire button right there. And I think it uses micro switches, if I'm not mistaken. You can hear them. But yeah, it's very ergonomic. I mean, it's very comfortable. This is like one of the most comfortable joysticks that you could use. But it's not my cup of tea. This is not one of the joysticks that I like to use. But I know many of you love this joystick. So, yeah. It's got a rough texture on it so that it feels more comfortable. You can grip it better, holding your hand better, you know. So, yeah. All right. Next is a similar joystick, but it's the Wyco version. Okay, it's the Wyco version. I don't think it's, well, actually, it feels pretty good, actually. Got your fire button right there. It too uses the micro switches. I like where they have like a thumb thing right there for your thumb, which the Epix one didn't have. That makes it a lot more ergonomic, a lot more comfortable. And I like the fact that this has some kind of like a rubbery coating on it, so you know, it's much more comfortable in your hand. Even the stick right here feels like it's got a rubbery coating on it. You know, yeah. But there's that one by Wyco. Next, we have the Gravis gamepad. Now, these, if I remember correctly, are available for the IBM PC, because I've used these with my IBM PC. But this particular one is, if I remember correctly, this one is for the Amiga. This particular one here is for the Amiga computer. Yeah, this Gravis gamepad right here is for the Amiga. And this stick right here, it unscrews like that. I actually prefer to use this without the stick. Prefer using a D-pad without the stick. Gamepads are best suited for like your slower moving games, like role-playing adventure games that allow you to use a gamepad, you know, or a joystick, you know. Also, this is a perfect choice for platform games. Oh yeah, this is a perfect choice for platform games. And it can also be a good choice for side-scrolling or, you know, top-down shoot-'em-up games. You know, I've used these for shoot-'em-up games too. So, yeah. Oh, there's the bottom, in case you want to see what the bottom looks like. And I think there's a couple of switches here. See that switch right there? And then there's another switch here. I think you throw those two switches if you want to use this for a right-handed person or a left-handed person. I think that's what those are for. Those switches right there. All right, next up, I know is a favorite for many of you over in Europe, and that's the, what, Competition Pro joystick. Okay, the Competition Pro. It's a nice looking joystick. I will admit that. It's a nice looking joystick. This is normally found in the black color with the red buttons. Okay, but this is the more hard to find beige color of the Competition Pro joystick. This is much harder to find than the black one. And yeah, there's the bottom of it. Okay, now personally, I don't like this joystick for two reasons. Number one, it does not have a fire button on the stick. I prefer joysticks to have the fire button on the stick, because to me it's much more comfortable. You can use the joystick, press your fire button, and plus the stick is too short to have that. It'd have to be at least an inch taller to have the fire button on the stick. And this joystick is too tight. It is way too tight. I'm having to put a lot of force to move this joystick. And it's putting a lot, it actually, the points right here in the plastic starting to hurt my hand because of it. This is not a comfortable joystick to use. It's very tight. Doesn't have the fire button in the stick. So personally, I think this joystick is crap. On a 1 to 10 scale rating, I would rank this, I'd say about a 3 or a 4 at the most. In other words, it's below average. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, they love this joystick. They consider this like, the best joystick ever made, and I highly disagree with that. I'm going to show you in a moment the best Atari 9-pin joystick ever made for 8-bit and 16-bit games. So, just continue watching. All right, next up, we've got the Slick Stick. This has always been one of my favorite joysticks as far as the way it looks. I love the Halloween orange and black color theme. It's always been one of my favorite color themes ever since I was a kid. Halloween is my favorite holiday. Normally, I don't celebrate holidays. I think they're a waste of time and money. And I think holidays were created as a means of getting people to spend their money. Because think about it. Can you think of any holiday where you don't have to spend money? See, so I don't celebrate holidays in general. I think they're a waste of time and money. And so, but I do like Halloween. I do like Halloween. But there's the Slick Stick by Suncom. There's the Suncom logo. Okay. Got some kind of rubber right there covering the shaft. It appears to have good quality contacts. But I think this joystick, for my personal taste, is a little bit too tight. And I don't like the squareness that digs into your hand. I don't like where they put the button, because then you can't hold it comfortably because you have to have your thumb right here for the fire button. That's one of the reasons why I prefer joysticks that have the fire button in the stick, because then I can really hold on to that stick. And the joystick body right here, and I'm using the joystick handle with the button, and it's just a lot more, I think it's a lot better that way, But there's a slick stick by Suncom. This was also made in the USA. So, yeah. This is a favorite, I know, for many of you. Alright, next up is basically the exact same joystick, except they, Suncom put a different label on it, and they put a different stick on it. And that's the Starfighter. The ultimate joystick. Okay? It too has, I think, the same contacts, same type of contacts. But again, it's not a very comfortable joystick to use. Okay, the Starfighter by Suncom. Basically, the exact same joystick as the previous one I just showed you. It too was made in the USA by Suncom. Alright, next up is a very unusual joystick. And that's this joystick by Mindscape. Mindscape Power Player joystick. Okay, very unusual joystick. I like how it has the handle like that. You can very comfortably hold on to the joystick while you're using it like this. The only thing that I don't like is that the fire button is in the handle. I actually don't like that. Okay, it would be better if the stick, the fire button was in the top of the stick, and the stick was maybe an inch longer to accommodate that fire button. Okay, then you wouldn't have to, you could hold on to this really snug because you don't have to worry about the fire button. When you have to press the fire button with one of your fingers, then it makes it hard for the rest of your fingers to really grip this joystick. Because you're putting a lot of pressure when you're, especially when you get into a heated shoot 'em up or whatever. This appears to use micro switches. I do like that. Yeah, I do like that. All right. The next joystick is a Spectra Video joystick. This is a cheap joystick. I think these cost like around 10 to 12 bucks. I do like the fact that it has this nice, like a pistol grip type handle. It got your button up on top. This button clicks. This might actually have a micro switch button, fire button. I don't know. The base feels mushy. It feels real mushy. Like it may have the same type of contacts as the Atari 2600 controller. Okay. The buttons have a clicky feel to it though. Same thing with the top one. So, yeah. I like the fact that it has suction feet on the bottom. You can stamp it on your desk or your table or whatever. This one here was made in Hong Kong. So that tells you how old this joystick is. Because when's the last time things were made in Hong Kong? That was several decades ago when things were made in Japan and made in Hong Kong. So yeah, this is an early joystick. It's an old joystick. And to get an old joystick like this in this nice a condition, this is rare. Yeah, it's rare to find an old joystick like this in this nice, almost new, well, like new condition. All right, here we have a quick shot joystick. I like the pistol grip. Got your fire button on here and on the top. And it's clicky, well, somewhat clicky. but it's mushy on the base, so it doesn't have micro switches. Have some kind of mushy, you know, contacts. I do like the fact that it's got an you can turn auto fire on and off. I do like that. Has an auto fire right there. Has your suction feet. And this joystick was also made in Hong Kong, patent pending, so that right there tells you how old this joystick is. This is an early joystick. Very old. To have patent pending plus is made in Hong Kong, yeah, this is an old joystick. Yeah, and again, it's in pretty nice shape considering how old this joystick is. It's in very nice shape. All right. Now we're going to, I'm going to show you 5 video gaming controllers that are made by Wico. The first one is the Black Max. Yes, Wico did make cheap joysticks as well. I remember when this one came out. I remember seeing this in a lot of the like the old computer magazines like Compute Gazette. I think these are very popular among VIC-20 users, Commodore 64 users, you know, Atari 8-bit users, you know. These were very popular for that. But it's the Wico Black Max. It's got a real mushy feel to it. Very uncomfortable. It feels like it's got rubber in there or something. It feels real mushy. Fire button feels cheap. I mean, yeah. I think these were like $8 to $10 each, if I remember correctly. They're like $8 to $10. And it does have Wico, the Wico name on the plug, the 9-pin plug. And there's the bottom of the controller. It says Wico patent pending, made in USA, so that shows you how old this controller is because the patent is still pending on it. And it clearly says Wico right there. But yeah, there's that one, the Wico Black Max. Now I do kind of like the way it looks. I do like the way it looks. It's a very nostalgic looking joystick, I think. Alright, next we have the Boss. This one uses the same type of interface as the Atari 2600 controller. I think it has like a circuit board in here with the contacts. It's got your fire button up on top. This joystick does look good sitting next to like an Atari 65XE or an Atari 130XE computer, any of the gray Atari computers. Like even the Atari 520 ST or the Atari 1040 ST or the Atari Mega ST computer. This gray Wico looks really good with those, you know, Atari computers. But yeah, Wico patent pending, made in USA. So this too is a very early joystick. I like the pistol grip handle. That's kind of nice. But it is a cheap joystick. It feels cheap. Now these work really well when they're working. But they wear out very fast. I usually wear one of these out within 1 to 3 months. Oh yeah, depending how much video gaming I'm doing for that, you know, for that time. But yeah, I usually wear these out from within 1 to 3 month time period. It'll be totally worn out. But this is a favorite for a lot of people. They like the Wico Boss joystick. Alright, next we have this Wico command control trackball. Okay. This is a very well-made trackball. Now, when you get into Wico command control, these are the same controls that were used in the actual coin-op arcades. These are very high quality. These are the finest video gaming controllers that money could buy back then. You know, these are some of the best because they use the same controls that were used in the coin-op arcades. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now this ball was originally like a creamy white color, but they're made out of the same type of plastic. I forgot what the name of the plastic is. It's made out of the same type of plastic that a lot of your smoking pipes are made out of. And as you smoke the pipe, the plastic turns like a yellow color like this. Well, this also happens over time. That's why it's very hard to find one of these Wico trackballs like this where the ball hasn't yellowed like this. So this should not take away from the value or the condition of the trackball. I think they're all yellowed by now. You know, they're not creamy colored like in the old days. Now, one of the things I used to do back for the Amiga computers, what I would do, and people would pay me for this, I couldn't produce these fast enough. There's a circuit board inside here that slides into like a slot. And what I would do is I would take that circuit board out and I would replace it with my own custom-made circuit board. And it would turn a Wico trackball like this into an Amiga mouse. And it was a plug-compatible board that I used to make. You didn't have to rewire anything, you didn't have to solder anything. All you have to do is take the old board out, put my board in, plug in the wires, just like they were on the original board, and it would turn the trackball into an Amiga mouse. Okay, I would also put a little small LED right there, a red LED right there, so you can tell when it's on, it's getting power. And I would put another red button like this over here. Yeah, turning one of these into a really nice, high quality trackball mouse for your Amiga computer. You can also, you know, I think I made a few of these for the Atari ST as well. There's only like a 2-wire difference between the Atari mouse and the Amiga mouse. Okay, and so I think, if I remember correctly, I also made these for the Atari ST. So yeah, real nice feel, real nice trackball. I just love these trackballs. And there's the bottom of it. Mine's in pretty good shape considering how old this trackball is. Mine's still in really nice shape. Yeah, still in really nice shape. Very high quality stuff. All right. Now I'm going to show you two of the finest joysticks ever made for the 8-bit and 16-bit computers. And that is this one right here, the Wico Command Control. Now remember, this is the same joysticks. These are the same joysticks that were used in the actual coin-op arcades. These, if I remember, this was the only joysticks, you know, these Wico command controls, they were the only joysticks that came with a 5-year warranty. And I have never worn out one of these joysticks, ever. They last. They are built to last a long time. They have a good feel to them. They use leaf switches, which are much higher quality than micro switches. Okay, and these are built tough. They're very tough joysticks. Okay, so let's pull it out. And there it is, the Wico bat handle. Okay. There's a switch here on the base for selecting whether or not you want to use the fire button on the stick, which is the way I like to use it, or the fire button on the base. Okay, just flip that switch. Okay. This joystick has a stainless steel shaft right here. I have never once broken off one of these sticks. Never once broken off one of these handles. On other joysticks, yes. I've lost track how many handles I've broken off other joysticks. And because of that, I quickly switched to the Wico command controllers, these bat handle joysticks. They last a very long time. They're very tough. They have a good feel to them. You know, they actually have a good feel because of those leaf switches. Fire button up on top. I used to kick a lot of butt with one of these joysticks. In fact, if you notice on the shelving behind me, when I do my introductions to my videos, you will find a Wico bat handle proudly displayed next to my Commodore 64 computers. You'll actually see that in the background, one of these proudly displayed. But yeah, that's a very nice joystick. Wico Command Control. Made in USA and patent pending. Showing you, giving you an idea of just how old these joysticks are. The patent is still pending on it. The Wico Command Control. The finest joystick available for 8-bit and 16-bit home computers. This was the best. Right here. I think it was the only, if I remember correctly, it was the only joysticks that came with a 5-year warranty. Yeah, Wico was very proud of their joysticks. They knew that the joystick would last a long time. I have Wico joysticks that are, well, hell, I used to use them back in the day with my Commodore VIC-20, my Commodore 64 computers, and my Amiga computers, my Atari ST computers, and they still work today. They still work great. This next Wico command control joystick is actually a rare joystick. It's one of the rarest joysticks in my collection. Not many of these were made because they were more expensive, and not many people bought these. And so Wico stopped making them. They quickly stopped making this joystick. It's very hard to find this one, especially new in the box like this. Very hard to find this one new in the box. So let's take it out of the box. Let's take a look and see what's inside this box. Okay. Well, we've got the pistol grip handle, and these appear to be made out of a very high quality plastic. Really high quality. Very nice plastic handles. These are very nice. Very nice. Then of course we got the classic bat handle. You know, got that one. And we have, well, it's like some kind of a business reply card that you mail in. Okay, you got that. And we got the actual Wico command control. Congratulations, you have just purchased the finest game controller money can buy. And that's a fact. We know you take your game playing seriously. So does Wico. Wico Command Control. Wonderful joystick. Oh yeah. It shows it hooked up to the Atari 2600. The ColecoVision and the Atom. Yeah, okay. Yeah. The Atari 5200. Okay, important 4-way, 8-way gate lock disc instructions. So that's why there's two different discs. One's for 4-way control and the other one's for 8-way control. I was wondering about that. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay, well, there's the instructions. And then we have the actual joystick itself. Well, here is the, oh, did I hit the camera? Oh my God. I hit the camera. Anyway, I think this is the 8-way locking mechanism right there. The 8-way locking mechanism. This sort of reminds me of the way it's done on the Sanwa arcade joysticks. They have a similar disc thing like this. One's for 8-way and one's for 4-way, but I think you turn it and then you screw it back on. Anyway, here is the ball handle right here. It's the ball handle. And of course, like the bat handle, it has a switch here where you can select the button on the top or the base. I like using the one on the top, you know. Stainless steel shaft right here. Although this kind of looks like it's aluminum. I don't know. But yeah, I like it. Yeah. Made in USA, patent pending. Yeah. Okay. So let's just put this baby back in here like this. I had a rubber band around this, but I've had this joystick for so long that the rubber band dried out and basically disintegrated. It basically disintegrated. Wait a moment. Got to put the paperwork back in here. We don't want that. Darn it. Okay, put it like this. Yeah, like that. Like that's fine. That's fine, man. Put that back in there like that. Put this back in there like that, and there you go. Okay. Alright. So, there is that. The Wico Command Control Super 3-Way Joystick. Recommended for Atari and Commodore systems. This is actually one of the rarest joysticks in my personal collection, right here. All right. Next up, I have something that is actually very hard to find today, and that's the Wico Command Control 6-foot video system extension cord. Lets you play your video game or computer system from practically anywhere in the room. For use with Wico Command Control joysticks and adapters. Get the dust off here. And basically all it is this thing is old. God. But they're very hard to find. But all it is basically a joystick extension cable. Okay. The one end plugs into your computer, right? And the other end, the joystick plugs into that. So yeah, it's an extension cable. Yeah, these are very hard to find today. They're very hard to find today. Yeah. They'll work with any joystick. It doesn't have to be a Wyco. It could be any joystick. Yeah. But anyway, there's that. There's the box, what the box looks like. The original price on this looks like it was $4.95, $5 for this extension cable. Next up, we've got this really nice, this too is a joystick extension cable, but it has built-in adjustable auto fire, which is really nice on this. Really nice. Okay, okay, you plug this into your computer, right? And you plug your joystick into there, and then just wiping the dust off. And then this gives you adjustable auto fire. And I just love this brushed aluminum knob. Oh, you can turn it off too. There's a switch in there. You can hear it click. So you can actually turn it off too. But yeah, I just love this built-in auto fire. It's adjustable auto fire. It's really nice. Getting the dust off here. Yeah. So I felt, I had to show you this. This is really cool. Really cool, and these two are very hard to find today. Very hard to find. Very hard to find today. Anyway, in case you want to look for these, that's what the box looks like. Right there. And there's the back of the box. I don't know if you're going to try to read, any of that. Okay. And the last thing that I'm showing you in this video, part one of this series, is something that I have used quite a bit with my Commodore 64 and with my Amiga computers, and that's this adjustable speed blaster auto fire module. I'm sure many of you back in the day had one of these. These were very popular. Very popular. Very popular. And I'll show you what it looks like. As soon as I open the box. But basically all it is this. All it is this. Adjustable speed. Okay, you can also turn it off. If you have it all the way over here on this side, it turns it off. You plug it into your computer, plug your joystick into here, and it gives you adjustable auto fire. Yeah, I think this is so cool. So cool. Anyway, that's what the box looks like. In case you want to try to find one of these, that's what the box looks like. Maybe you can read some of that information off of there. I don't know how well you can read it. But, okay. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for part 2, where I show you my IBM PC compatible joysticks and my Apple joysticks. So that'll be coming up next in part 2. Anyway, my name is Hans George Campbell, and until next time.